This morning we'll be discussing a viral video that showed a woman being dehumanized by police in Delta State. The story there was that the police had gone to the woman's house to arrest her son. Unfortunately, the son was not there. The mother was found, and then she was dehumanized. The video went viral last weekend, where we saw about 3 police officers and a woman and a female police using a rope to tie down a woman, holding her down, eventually then pushing her into the car. This video went viral, and many have complained about the dehumanization of this act. There's been a press release from the Commissioner of Police Delta State. He condemns the act. Let me read their words specifically. The command is aware of the video recording that's gone viral about a woman being dehumanized. After a careful examination of the video clip, it is clear and obvious that the policeman acted in an unprofessional manner and unbecoming of police officers. The command condemns their act in totality, as no citizen deserves to be treated in such a manner either by the police or anybody. Their act is not only inexcusable, but unpardonable and will not be tolerated by the command. Therein, police officers serving at Agbarho division have been identified, summoned, and detained by the command headquarters. This is by the CP Ari Mohammed yesterday. He also said that they wish to reiterate that a rope is not a police accoutrement, and as such should not be used by any police in whatsoever. So really, we understand the police force itself has condemned this act. However, there are police on the road, the ground officers, the foot soldiers out there that still don't adhere to the various rules of the Nigerian police. And this is one of the examples we've seen. What are your thoughts, especially because there's been so much work within the police force to reorientate the minds of their people, to change their acts, to change their behaviors, but yet some still feel it's okay to dehumanize citizens. What are your thoughts on this, given the fact that the police have quickly responded? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-7694. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your view TVC so we can read your tweets. Let's not also forget, let me come to you ladies. Yes, this is the police that is easy to point a finger. But the average Nigerian citizen, oh, you caught your houseboy, you caught your driver doing something, we do the same thing. You tie them with rope, you dehumanize them, remove their clothes. We've seen videos here on this table where we rip out clothes of somebody who, he was a receptionist, he was the security guard, he stole this amount of money, and we rip them off, tie them up, and then try to dehumanize them. This is something, so yes, they are police officers, but they are also Nigerians. This is something we've seen happen across, but not just with the police. What are your thoughts? Because I don't want to just point finger as if it's only the police that does it, but in this case, it's the police, but it's beyond that. But let me. What are your thoughts on this video?
We'll start by pointing fingers because we've caught on tape a person that we expect knows better, a law enforcement person, someone who has gone through training on what is the law, someone who's gone through training on what is good and what is bad, someone whose job is to maintain law and order, descend into doing something totally against law and order. So we will definitely point fingers. We can excuse if an illiterate person says, I caught somebody sleeping with my husband and then I did a video and stripped them naked and we beat them. We can say, oh, they did not know better. It was crime of emotion or things like that, but crime of passion. But a police officer, or rather, a group of police officers, there were 5 of them. One of them should have known better. One should have called the other into order. Even if that woman was a criminal, she shouldn't have been treated like that. Talk of the fact that this woman was not a criminal. Even if she birthed a criminal, doesn't mean that she should be treated in such a way. Stripped naked, tied with a rope, left on the floor, as in it was major manhandling that shouldn't have taken place to a criminal and then now being meted out to a citizen who just happened to be the mother of someone that is suspected of crime. Okay. Totally wrong.
Who else wants to start with your thoughts on the video?
Yeah, I think the police needs to review how they carry out investigations. I've said this here sometime, and somebody was like, well, you're not a police officer now. Why are you forming consultants? And why are you talking about American movies, you know? But we can't keep doing something the same way over and over and expect a different result. It's going to end up this way. So if peradventure you have a suspect in mind, and you go to invite the person for questioning and the person is not available, you shouldn't be picking family members. You shouldn't arrest any family members. You go and come back. You keep going back till you find this person.
Around.
You can send people to hide under disguise. You don't have any issues with the family members of the person till you get this person, and maybe they now start exposing some of the family members that they worked in connivance with. You don't do that. But what we see here is there's a comedy a young boy did some time ago, and he was comparing China, the China police, the American police, and he says, when an American police gets suspects that you are a thief or something, they will call you, they will question you, they will do that till you confess, or they lay traps for you till you confess. But if it's a Nigerian police that suspects that you are a thief, they will catch you, they will beat you till you confess to a crime you have not committed. It was a young boy. And that's because of some of the things he has seen in society. And we see a lot of people sometimes, like a mistaken identity, they are arrested for a crime that at the end of the day, you find out that they did not commit. They have been beaten, they have been tortured, and all that. Can we stop all this? I know that the police will say that they train their people, but we are not seeing the effects of the training, especially on those people that they send, the officers that go on the streets. We don't see the effects of the training. So the training is not for just the high-class people who would speak English and come and defend and quick to write letter to say, we condemn, we condemn. Can we stop condemning and actually act on what is happening? Can we change the mindsets of the people on the streets? Because I understand that they have a lot of issues.
We'll come to the mindset in a minute. Let me get you, because I want us to dig into that a bit. But let me come to your thoughts on the video.
So, of course, it was annoying to watch. But I don't want to dwell on, everything they've said so far, because I'll be repeating the same thing. But I would say that the positive is, like, I'm happy that the police made a statement, and they did it in good time.
Yeah.
There used to be a time in this country that this would have just gone, would have screamed at most, and then would have moved on. Now the police understand.
I want to hear what you're saying, because I'm told your mic. Miriam, will tell us your thoughts.
Yes, I was saying that just like, the other ladies have spoken, I condemn in totality what the police did. But just to also move from the condemnation is that, okay, I would say the positive is that the police immediately responded to that video. There used to be a time that this would have meant nothing, we would have just moved on, and more people would just be abused and brutalized every day. But now the police understand that Nigerians are calling them, to be accountable for their actions. So what I'm expecting now after this letter is to see a proper, what's the word now? Like, like the prosecution of these officers. I know that many times we like to think it's a Nigerian thing, but of course we've seen the American police, we see the way that they treat black Americans and black people in America, killing them, kneeling on their necks and things like that. So police brutality, it seems like there's something about having power, having access to guns and having that sort of power over people that sort of messes up with, maybe your head or something. And for us in Nigeria, it's a combination of that and, I would say, illiteracy. Constantly we talk about the lack of training that we have, that our officers have in the police force. And unless we take that seriously, let police officers understand how to speak to people, ask people questions, how to investigate without getting into the, without hurting people and brutalizing people. They have to understand that there are creative and intelligent ways of arresting people or getting people to, so...
Let me take you up on that, Mariam.
Okay, I'm listening. Cut me off,
I think that one of the problems we have, and I've always said this before, is us, the middle class. I think we're one of Nigeria's biggest problems. Let me tell you why. We have the exposure, we've seen the movies, we've traveled abroad, we've seen, and we expect the Nigerian policeman to treat you like the American policeman will treat you. How do you remove Nigerian from a Nigerian society? They live in this country. A policeman is possibly trained. I've heard that where they brought in foreign police officers to come and train our people. Yes, in that small four-corner wall, you are well trained. The moment you step out, you try to now go and engage somebody who is smoking weed or somebody who maybe inside a jegule and say, hello, young man, Are you okay? I just see your eyes are red. You know, stuff like that. When you get 2 slaps from Ajegunle as a police officer, you remind yourself that that training you got in the 4 walls of it is different from the reality. He said it happens also when somebody gets in master's degree in America and feels, oh, I got 3 masters. Once you enter the Nigerian system, you realize that it's a different ball game. That your master's in Harvard, you need a whole new perspective. You have to enter the Nigerian market to understand how people think, how people reason, that there's only lay involved. There is this issue that you have to, there's a different manner that Harvard cannot teach you. The same way. So I'll come to the fact that we always say that they're not trained. I want to argue that they are trained, but sometimes a whole different ball game. So those men you saw dehumanizing, I've seen people, normal citizens, dehumanize themselves. If you and I want a better police, you and I should begin to treat, since you have the exposure, you've seen the American movies, when you see a policeman, greet him with respect and regard. When many of us in the middle class that have watched DSTV and watched movies, start beginning to treat them the way citizens should treat, maybe they can begin to, so that learning they're learning in the classroom can begin to reflect. So many of us, we're starting a conversation. I'm just trying to see a perspective that we also have a job to do as citizens, to change the mindset of the police gradually by respecting, talking to them with dignity, and then maybe they can start treating us with respect.
I love your point of, you know, and we always get there. There's no day that we talk about issues like that we don't also highlight the part that we have to play. But you know, in this case, I would use another example. We have nurses and doctors in Nigeria that were trained in Nigeria, did everything in Nigeria, and then when you go to hospitals, they treat you well, they do the surgery or whatever, they carry it so well that even countries abroad want our doctors and our nurses. This is where they learned to do their job. We have not said, and in this same scenario, we have called out Nigerian nurses and doctors who have behaved in a way that is not right. We will not blame Nigeria and the way Nigeria is for some people or for some professionals that have refused to do things the way that they are meant to do it. What I like about this situation is that finally the police understands the part it has to play in calling out the bad eggs. We never used to have that in the police. I mean, it's something that we are seeing maybe in the last 4 or 5 years. We cannot say to someone who's been trained, whose job and who has gone through the training, as you're saying that they get training, which is even sad for me, that they are getting the training on how to handle people and how to do their jobs, and they come and behave like touts. They behave like bandits. I would rather believe that they are not getting the training, but to say to me that they went through training and still come out this way, then there's a big issue. To also say that...
Okay, for a second. Yeah. So I can't categorically say I'm not their trainer. I'm just saying that I'm putting it hypothetically trained. I assume after all the answers, there have been several trainings of the police. That's an assumption.
But this is something that we have talked about, the training of police. This is our reality. We say it all the time. How can you say that you have trained someone, and then when we talk to them one-on-one, when we communicate with them, when we are in, you know, and we see some of the things that does not show.
Why a Harvard graduate cannot work in certain places in Nigeria. It's the same thing. It's a reality.
So let me tell you how I see what you have said. I totally disagree with you, and that's because to whom much is given, much is expected. If you decide to be a policeman and you get all of your trainings, you should know when to deploy the training and when not to. So if you are getting into the criminal den, you know that there are guys with their guns and they're smoking weed and doing all of that. You know that that's not the time to be civil. You have to round them up. If you are getting into a civilian base, where is a woman you are going to pick? I'm highlighting this case now, whose son probably is a criminal. You're just suspecting. And she's refusing to go with you. Is that where you deploy your craziness because you're in Nigeria? That's you not following through. And because we do not have systems to check all of this, that's where you feel you can do it. If, for instance, a policeman does this sort of thing and is sacked or laid off or taken to prison, another one does it and say, no, I have to use or go through the proper means. I have to deploy what I am taught, especially if I'm going to a civilian's quarter. If you're going to, it's a covert operation, you know, the way they barge into hotels to catch criminals and all of that, that's a different ball game. You're going to where you're supposed to have a conversation. You're actually going to invite somebody to follow you to the police for questioning, and then you're using rope. And you say because they are Nigerian. So are you telling us that every Nigerian person is a crazy person?
Well, that's something we can talk about. But let me take this call and I'll come back to you, Tokwe. Good morning, Toby. Are you there from the UK?
Good morning, ladies.
Live.
Happy birthday, BC.
Thank you.
Dress is blinding me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. All right. I was going to contribute to the program.
Yeah.
I've heard you guys talk about training. And in my head, I'm thinking, how much training can we do to an already troubled mind to get them, to start thinking right or to start doing the right thing? And what I mean is, we all grew up from families. We all grew up in the society. We were raised in a certain way. A man that has been raised in a particular way, a man whose mind is already disturbed from childhood, he starts to look for a job. He gets a job in a police establishment. He goes through training for a month, 2 months, even if it's a year. Do you think that 1 year training can change the mindset, can change that upbringing? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? This thing, how do we take out the brain that was already formed in a particular way and begin to put new things into them in 6 months?
Oh, Toby, we lost that. So, Toby, I'll come to you, Toby. I think I like what Toby was saying is that who we are as a people is difficult. The American police that we love, he grew up in a loving society.
You think so?
Not necessarily, but I'm just saying that the system he's born in has given me enough to respect the next person.
So why is he
we hardly
down
do.
Black Americans?
Let me come to you.
Exactly.
So the thing is, we make our habits make us. We make the society makes us.
Absolutely.
So the people create the system creates the people. It goes in and out. But there are people that are custodians of the system. And the police are in that category of custodians of the system.
Yes, sir.
Our leaders are custodians of the system. The bottom-up approach, when you're trying to do a change management in any system, you look at who are the stakeholders. Police is a stakeholder. The churches, the political leaders, traditional rulers, these are all stakeholders. These are people that help to shape the system. And it is wrong because scientifically it's been proven that the brain can change. I can be brought up in a terrible environment and I go through training and I change and my brain waves change in such a powerful way. Yes. Our brain is not formed and is static.
At all.
Many people don't know. You can be dumb all your life till you are 40, and at 40 you say, I am smart, and then you start learning, and you go to the process, and at 50 you are super brilliant because you have decided to. Our brain can.
Yes.
So when we say the society has put us in this space, we are just giving ourselves excuses to continue in our bad habits.
Thank you, Tokwe.
And we're continuing it, and everybody's saying, that's the way we were brought up. This is the way we've always done it.
All of us are
The
mad.
leaders and stakeholders should say, this is a better society. Some people, I came back from Qatar, Murayo, I did not see police officers, but you will see cameras everywhere. Well, I came into the airport, I just took a picture, as I was leaving, just took a picture. They have created a system, and it wasn't always like that. 25 years ago, they decided that our people deserve better. So here's what I'm saying, Murayo, that the system is bad now. And the police officers cannot on their own. I've already mentioned it. Yes. I said there are stakeholders that change the system.
Yeah. Okay.
All of us are part of the system, but stakeholders change the system.
I hear you. So there's a rich man. Somebody said earlier that, an uneducated somebody that is doing this stuff. But there are rich men, big men, that will bring their houseboy, tie them up, trash them naked. And these are people that have graduated and they're also educated.
They are part of the system.
Part of the stakeholders.
No, they're not stakeholders. They are part of the system.
No. We are
being wealthy does not make you a stakeholder.
No. We are Nigerians. We are stakeholders in this Nigeria.
Yes, we are part of the system. Yes. We are not stakeholders. The stakeholders are people that can make a decision that can impact on the lives of many. Yeah. One police officer can affect, if a policeman comes inside here, no matter how wealthy we are, we will all stand.
Yes.
Because he is a stakeholder.
Yeah.
When the government comes in here, everybody will stand. A soldier comes here, we will stand.
Yes.
When a traditional ruler comes here, we will stand. Yes. They are stakeholders. It's not about wealth.
Okay. No, I get what you mean by we're all
but we are part of the system.
We're also stakeholders.
This nation called Nigeria.
Yes.
You see, we cannot get one person who I have appointed to fix Nigeria. You and I are going to fix Nigeria. How do I fix Nigeria? When I see a police, I am respectful. When I see if my houseboy does something, I don't ramp him up and tie him up with rope and say you must arrest him. No, I give him that dignity of who he is. So tomorrow, it's because the police officer, he gives the next person dignity and respects you. That policeman That policeman could have been somebody's houseboy in the past. That woman you've seen could have been somebody's house girl in the past, where somebody beat her up, and then all she knows in her head is we must tie you up with the rope. The point I'm trying to make is that I agree with each other.
Yeah.
I want you to understand that we the people, we that claim that we want to point finger at police, we are equally culprits in this.
Yes, Mariah, we are all stakeholders in this country, Nigeria. All of us citizens, I agree with you. It's not just the police, but in our stakeholding, we have called some people aside and we have given them ministries, departments, and agencies. You see, not everybody has, we are saying to them, not everybody has head, but you make sure they have head.
Supposed to have head.
So, but you are taking us from this whole Nigeria. Yes, so we're putting you through this training so that you would tell us, when you're in a class, even in primary school, you have a class prefect. And the class prefect will be called aside and told, this is what I expect you to do. When the class prefect does something wrong or is caught, his name is in the noisemakers list, they're like, you, class prefect, you should know better. So that's it with the police. They should know better.
Okay.
And what even makes it more shocking or painful is, not only are you just asked, you're holding a gun, you have that power of, you know, of the gun over people. And to do that to another person who we know that is not a criminal on the run, who was not pointing guns at you. We have heard of police officers and we thank them for their sacrifice, we thank them for their work, where they go and they're in gun duels with people. But we're talking of this particular scenario. And we have seen it many times where people are over, is it overzealousness or I don't understand. You use a hammer to destroy an egg. This is just a person that you would have, they would have just put handcuffs on her and this would have been done.
It's even
but
wrong.
to strip her naked and have the rope tied on her arms, it's just so...
Good morning, Benjamin. Sorry for keeping you. Are you there?
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
I did all of you there, and happy birthday to Charlie for the brand.
Thank you. So clear.
Before I take in my point, I want to give this piece of advice. You know, we that we are, you people that we are there physically, we have the length of time to speak and report about the topic there. But those people, those of us that we are contributing at our own cost, please be considerate. Once a call enters, try to answer us first before you continue your discussion over there, so that the one that you are holding will not spend much, and the money will not have expected that will even that will deprive the person to contribute to some or her point. Now, my point on this is this.
Can you hear him? I can't hear him.
You people that...
Sorry, I didn't hear what he said.
We're saying that when a call comes in, we should cut the call into the show immediately and not wait until our contribution is over. Because people that are calling also want to
contribute.
Okay. So, you know, they say...
Good feedback to the ladies.
Thank you. They say, you know, the other lady that called, said something about society forming who we are, and so we cannot separate the police from the society, because how long would you train somebody, even if it's a year, and expect the person to change? But I beg to differ, and like Tokbe explained, the human mind can accept what it wants to accept and transform when it's ready to transform. And I've never seen even a madman go and meet a cow, right? Madmen will harass you, but when they see animals, they run, because even in their madness, they have sense. And you wouldn't say because you had a bad upbringing or you are laden with poverty and then you transfer it. When you are working, you are supposed to wear a cap for that profession. That is what makes you different, because you are doing that job. No matter how crazy somebody gets, if you know that if you misbehave in your office, you will be fired. You will organize yourself. As crazy as we think Nigerians are, when they travel outside the country, they obey the rules. They stand in line because they know that there are consequences for those actions. So the police needs to understand that I have to go by the training that I have, or there are consequences for my actions if I do not. And that's why we are gatekeepers. They are stakeholders in the country, but they are people that are more stakeholders than others. And they are in that category, like Tope rightly explained. And so we must hold them to higher standards than the ordinary human being. So the thing is, we're telling Nigerians to treat other people better and all of that. And when you commit a crime, we call you out, even on this table, for overbeating your house help. And, you know, but this is for the police, who we are supposed to hold to higher standards. Right. They must show forth, no matter how annoyed you are on that particular day. So, once you wear your uniform, you should know that I'm wearing this cap and I have to be this person. I'm a life coach, right? And sometimes I have to deal with a client and maybe somebody has annoyed me somewhere. I take my time and wear that life coaching cap because I have a client who is paying me and I behave like a life coach. Like, when I finish, I go back and quarrel with the person I want to quarrel. We must learn to separate our emotions from the jobs that we do.
You know what I find quite interesting about us? Because, just like you said, it's a Nigerian would enter the Nigerian airport, see a custom officer, and offer to bribe the person because they want to go through. That's a Nigerian, not the customer. They will offer, well, guy, just take 2,000 naira. That same Nigerian just came back from UK, went to maybe an office, and will stay in line for 2 hours just to be spoken to. We know, we as a people, we know what to do. It's like many of us don't respect our systems. And what I'm trying to say is that the percentage of Nigerians that have exposure is higher than the 300,000 or 400,000 Nigerian police that we have. We have a duty as Nigerians who have this, oh, I just went to the UK. Those of you, come back, treat each other with respect and regard. This same Nigerian that went to the UK will still take a houseboy and slap their face because, oh, you took my $2,000. Or we still treat each other. So I'm saying that for those of us that know better, that we have the higher ground, that we are smarter, we have a bit of exposure. If we start to treat each other with that respect and regard, it will begin to trickle down to the police. So when the police, when I'm not talking to that 400,000, when I'm almost done, when we begin to see policemen, that 400,000 on the road, and we're treating them with respect, gradually, when they have to go and meet somebody, arrest, they arrest with respect because they're beginning to realize they can talk to human beings. I'm saying that I'm agreeing with you that they were wrong. But we the people, let us not forget that we have responsibility to change the mentality of the Nigerian police.
This is not a case for we the people. Let's separate it. When we the people misbehave, they call we the people and they arrest we the people. This is police now. Let's highlight. Let's not mix disputing that. I agree. Let's not mix up the conversation. If you as a body does something wrong, let's talk about it.
Let me even just...
You as a people do something wrong, let's talk about it. But swapping it so that the police will change, we will have to do better. It's the other way around. Because those who are in positions of authority should set the example. And then it trickles down.
I just want to say it's actually the other way around, about them setting example. So using your same example, you say that people, Nigerians, when they go abroad, they respect the system. Why do they respect the system? Because the system respects itself. But here, Nigerian
that system was the product of who they were.
It respects itself. It understands. In that country, it's not that there are no criminals or that crimes are not committed, but they know that when they are caught, they'll be punished. Here is that Nigerians understand the systems are disrespecting themselves. Nigerians understand that there are loopholes and there are flaws in the system, and they'll find ways to, take advantage of that flaw. So if you are the police system or the police body and you're the military body and someone comes and offers you the bribe, you respect yourself, you respect your office, you respect your uniforms, the ethics, the conduct of your office, you will not receive that, you will not collect it. And the next Nigerian knows that if you try to bribe a Nigerian officer, you're in big trouble. So they have to set the example for how they want to be approached and treated, and Nigerians would quickly adjust. That's how it should work.
Okay, all right, let's take your point. But let me take this call. Elijah's been holding for a Good morning, Elijah.
Good morning, Mariah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, this is first time caller.
Welcome to the show.
Regarding Nigerian policemen, some of them are professional in their job, but I think I still need to encourage them in the sense that maybe probably when they are on their training, you should allow them to watch American films well, and then they should know how to handle people, because most of them, even the way they talk, when they come to arrest you, you'll be asking yourself, is this Nigerian police? But it's not that all of them are bad. There are some that are bad, and there are some that are good. But I know one day we are definitely going to get it right. I believe so. And this your show is really helping to shaping so many things as far as Nigeria is concerned. Honestly, if people are watching this program, I believe if the policemen who are watching it will help educate them more. Right. You guys are really doing wonderfully.
Thank you. Yakub, you're live. Go ahead, please. Our final call on this, then we're going to break. Yakub.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mariam.
Morning, sir.
And, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I just called this morning to applaud the Nigerian police. Listen to the young CP. Look at the way the young man talk. In fact, I'm proud to be Nigerian this morning. Why? Because if Nigerian citizens see if our police working like this, why can't we have the information at hand and distribute to the police that will know that when you see something, for you to say something, you are safe. You do get it. Look at what the even said. There's nothing to investigate on because the thing is glaring that the Nigerian citizens are already posting online. You see. So the position of this guy should be coming. In fact, I'm very, very proud this morning that Nigerian police, look at that guy, very young and very intelligent. God bless Nigerian police. I'm very happy. Good morning.
Yes, thank you very much. It doesn't take much to please
Yes.
us.
It doesn't take much to impress us. Just respect yourself. He said, when you see the system there, the system respects itself. Yeah. You will not even offer them a bribe because of the way they carry themselves. And I won't see this man and disrespect him.
At all.
I will not. I might be older, I might be richer, but he has carried himself with so much respect that I will be forced to just conform.
Respect his uniform.
So I think that it is, we need to let this cascade down and see more of this, and please let it go viral.
Fantastic.
Amazing.
Fantastic. If I see a man like that, I won't disrespect him. Absolutely. Absolutely. You're right. You're right.